going on?
Sanders, what's going on?
It's Mega Maid. She's gone from suck to blow.
What? They're getting all their air back. Do something.
Do something.
Do something!
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and there was a particularly bad comic book this week that I was actually looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Titans, Teen Titans. In fact, Joe and I like the books or the team so much that we recently did a Saving the Titans video. Unfortunately, DC Comics was not able to view that before they relaunched this. Otherwise, I think we would have gotten a different comic book. And here to talk with me about Teen Titans Academy #1 is my good friend, writer, award-winning editor, Joe Corral. How you doing?
I'm all right, Wes. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So I don't really know who Tim Sheridan is. I'd never actually heard his name until I heard of Future State. I did not particularly like the Teen Titans story in there, and I like this even less, surprisingly.
I can't believe this is worse, but I do want to just throw out there, I have no idea who Tim Sheridan is. He could be the nicest person on earth. I have no idea. I don't know his other works. He could have stuff out that is amazing that I haven't checked out yet. This isn't it. It's nothing personal, but this was a bad time.
So there are a lot of Academy style books out, kind of emulating what we got in Harry Potter within the comic universe. Obviously, Harry Potter is kind of old news, although they talk about it a little bit in this comic book.
Yeah.
But particularly Strange Academy over at Marvel, written by Scotty Young. I believe it's illustrated by Humberto Ramos, is really nice. It's like a really charming kids book. My 5-year-old and myself read it together. Do we love all the characters? No, but there's enough of there to love, and the adventures are fun, and they're appropriate for kids. And there's a charm to the book that is completely lacking in Teen Titans Academy, which I think is kind of what they were going for, but it misses the mark in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Can you explain what it is?
Well, first, with Strange Academy, that's kind of an all-star team, more or less. Like Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos are very well-known quantities who have been doing comics for a long time now. So investing in that kind of team might be a good way to go with something like this. It all just... There's a lot of problems here. One is I still do not care about Red X, and they're really pushing that Red X is like this big bad in the background. I have no idea why. It's not interesting. It's not compelling. It's not threatening at all. So I don't know why they're doing this.
The weird thing is the students are talking about there's this big history of Red X, and Nightwing used to be Red X. We know that happened in the cartoons. It's never been part of the DC universe. And then we get some backstory that 2 other characters have had were the Red X after Nightwing because his friends brought him back. And the only good thing about Red X is he's dead. But it's like, if this character was so important and Nightwing was Red X, it's not in the continuity. If you want to introduce a character or an idea like this, you have to introduce it as new. You can't introduce it as something that's been around for 15 or 20 years. Yeah, because we would have heard about it by now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this is one of the major flaws right off the bat. Is I'm not feeling the stakes. I'm not feeling Red X. I'm not feeling any threats. Way too vague. Way too Red X was bad and did bad things. And okay, nothing you're telling me about Red X is making me fear for the safety of this team or the Teen Titans. You are some of the most powerful, strategic characters, and this is a whole academy filled with dozens of superpowered people. Like, why would I be afraid of one guy who's Red X? It's a really bad start,
and it's essentially the driving force of the comic and the narrative. Like that's the hook for this comic book and series is who is Red X. And I agree with you. They dropped the ball. Now, there's a couple of moments in this comic that I found to be, I don't know if cringe is the word, dull.
Sure.
The first one is Dick Grayson, Nightwing, is going to be teaching self-defense class or whatever.
Yeah.
And the students come in and he says, "Welcome to Defense Against the Dark Arts." Obviously a callback to Harry Potter.
Sure.
And then he says, "I guess you're all too young for that reference." No, we understand the reference. We just think nowadays it's problematic and best ignored. No offense, Tim Sheridan. You wish you were J.K. Rowling. Like why are we ripping on J.K. Rowling and Teen Titans? This is wasted real estate, and it's a terrible joke.
Well, yeah, and then for Nightwing to just be like, thanks for that, and not be like, like, hey, knock it off. I'm the teacher. It's that whole sequence was very odd. Why even bring it up?
Exactly.
Like, they shouldn't have even called any attention to that. And then
you're only aping her story with this comic book.
Yeah, that's a problem. But then even before that, and there's only a few pages before this, you have it that this is the Roy Harper Titans Academy, which is undercut because we know Roy Harper is coming back from Infant Frontier. So okay, another aspect of this book that's cut off at the knees. Then you also have, this is more of a nitpick, but a lot of comics do this, and I think it's terrible and lazy, is the original Titans come out, and they're giving this speech all in their like superhero regalia. You're supposed to be a school. You should be like outfitted in like professional attire to address them. And then when Nightwing is going to train them, he should be in his Nightwing costume. So right off the bat, this is like, wow, you're 3 strikes and I'm like 4 or 5 pages in. Like,
well, there's another moment in here I imagine it's probably going to get the most publicity, and I'll agree probably with what most people say. So there's a character in here that appears to be like a doll. They're made out of fabric. And the character sitting down for lunch which is clearly like some like preppy white kid, and he's like, "So you're some kind of magically animated androgynous ragdoll."
Yeah.
Like, who says that when you just first meet somebody? Like, you were looking at a living doll. Why would you even say anything like that? I would be pretty curious as to what they are, but the response is just is odd. The proper term, Matt, is non-binary effigy, though I prefer genderqueer quilted American. Just kidding. I'm not American. Can I have your apple?
The problem is it comes off like it's making fun of like non-binary genderqueer people, because you're doing this through an insane ragdoll because the follow-up to that is you don't have a mouth. So it's like, that's not the kind of character you would think people would want as representation. Like, I want representation of an insane babble-mouthed animated quilt. Very, very weird. And it also, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like, this isn't like actual representation. It's a quilt person. Like, what are you doing?
Or you could, maybe introduce this idea organically throughout the story, rather than it just stands out as a weird moment. You're like, what am I reading here? Like, who would be talking to an animated quilt and want to know what their gender was, or even be assuming that the quilt had a gender?
Yeah, it's very, very weird. This whole bit, this character just acts insane. Its personality, because earlier, when they're all saying if they're present or not, this quilt goes, president. Like, it's like, is this funny? Is this like a joke that it doesn't know words, or this genderqueer quilt person is unable to interact with people? I don't get what they're going for here.
That's one of the big problems with the comic as a whole are the jokes. They rarely ever hit. Whenever you write Beast Boy poorly, he always comes off terribly. It's like if
Oh,
you
yeah.
write Peter Parker dialogue bad while you're trying to quip and be funny, it lands so flat. There's another character that appears that is like the next Beast Boy. His name's Toby. And he's roommates with Roundhouse, who was just introduced as one of the Teen Titans. Another issue is that you just introduced an entire team of Teen Titans, never really got fleshed out, and now they're kind of falling to the wayside. And this is the interaction. You're Billy Roundhouse, right? I'm Toby, short for totally tubular. I know who you are, shapeshifter. They say you can turn into a tube. Very clever. Anything else? No, just a tube. Doesn't seem useful. You'd be surprised. Also, don't you just turn into balls? Big balls. That's probably the best joke.
It's a pretty bad joke too. It's not really.
That's my point.
It's not good, and it's like it's one page dedicated to be
To a punchline. Yes.
To these two being like, oh, we're sharing a room. Like, oh, okay, why? Why is this? Why is this happening? Before this is another page, a couple of pages for no reason, where Brick is like training, and then Donna Troy finds him and is like, let's spar. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like
the dialogue between these two is really strange. She's the teacher, one of the head instructors at the academy. This is a student. They are hinting that he has an evil agenda. When somebody's hacking into a computer, it's certainly hinted at that he's the one doing it. And I believe you're supposed to think he's Red X. Is what I gather. But this is the dialogue. But you should know your EMPs don't work on me. This is Donna Troy. Then he replies, "Oh, don't worry, I've got other ways to take you out." And she's like, "Wow, your real name is Brick because you bricked electronics. What a coincidence. Are you making fun of me?" Yep. Yes, it wasn't funny. This isn't like any school in the world, is it? And this is what Donna Troy, the teacher, says. Nope. Now, set your feet. I'm going to kick your ass.
It's that was terrible. Just awful.
Teachers telling students that they're going to whoop their ass? Like,
yeah,
where's Mr. Nightwing to step in here and fire somebody?
I don't understand why Donna would be saying that. I don't understand the brick joke. It's like they keep explaining the jokes over and over again, and it's infuriating. I don't understand how this book happened. It's I don't
understand how
just awful.
You whiff so hard on a Teen Titans book. It's like it sells itself. It's a fun legacy comic character adventures team.
Yeah.
Why even turn them into instructors?
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on. There are so many more interesting ways to do this. Having the entire original new Teen Titans from Marv Wolfman, George Perez as the teachers, again, just weird, lazy. The art at least is solid. However, it just looks like Donna Troy and Firestar have the same hair, and they look like they're just palette swapped and moved
I will
around.
forgive Rafa Sandoval and Jordi Tarragona, who I think do an excellent job here. I actually like Rafa Sandoval a lot. But otherwise, yeah, the art's solid. Like it's fun to look at. When there's action, it feels like action's happening. It's not static. It's very dynamic.
Yeah.
But he's got so little to work with. I feel bad for Rafa. I'm sure he was reading this going, oh gosh.
No, it's this is terrible. I mean, the only action bits we get in here are a little bit of a video of Red X, who we still don't care about, fighting a bit. A needless, gratuitous butt shot of Nightwing while he's sparring, because again, it feels like they were like, oh, you have to show Nightwing's butt because fans love his butt. Like it was totally unnecessary. You get that, then the only other action scenes are like a double page spread of action happening nowhere near the Academy with random.
It's Clock King too. You never see him in DC Comics. And this is what you waste him on. He's a cool character.
I mean, it seemed very like meme-ish, very like, ooh, let me dig up a random villain because it's funny and have this happening, and then it's just a double page action spread, but we don't get to really see the action because it's just a double page spread. We don't get to see what actually happens in the fight. We just get this one glimpse. Then we get to see Donna and Brick about to spar, but we don't actually get to see them fight. It blows your mind how this could happen.
I'm losing faith in DC Comics. I'm being honest. I do.
Yeah.
Nightwing's really good. I like the half of Joker is really good. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about Robin, but we'll see.
This is, I don't know how you drop the ball this hard. I don't know how you put out a script with a comic where action almost happens twice. And that's the extent of the action in the comic. Like, I'd like a few panels of a fight, please.
Yeah, something. And the big hook is Red X, who's never been in the DC universe, but they're acting as if everyone should be aware of the history of Red X that has not been introduced yet.
Yeah, it's like, cut some of the page real estate here to give it to adding a couple more pages so that way Donna and Brick could have fought and then Nightwing or someone breaks it up. That would have been something. Give us, instead of the double page splash, give us one splash page and then a page of actual sequentials showing the fight that Titans team is having with the Clock King.
Just one-liners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange book. I'm giving it like 1.5 stars because I do think the art's really good.
Sure.
But the dialogue's bad. The jokes aren't very good. The characterization's off. There's like these weird cringe moments. Like, what are you trying to do here? Why are you busting J.K. Rowling's nuggets? I know that people don't like her right now, but you're essentially stealing her idea for your book. Yeah. You at least say thank you.
They shouldn't have brought it up at all. It's no one's going to remember what this is about. It's going to age very oddly. There's no point in it. They could have used that space to have some.
That's a half a page.
Fighting. Yeah,
that joke is a half a page.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gotten a better idea of who these students are. We really don't, other than the one joke page with Toby and the Big Balls guy.
I like Roundhouse. He's such a good character when he's with Kid Flash. They're so funny together, but I don't want to see Tim Sheridan put them together because I know it's not going to be good.
Sure. Yeah. No, exactly. It's very, very odd. You had that. You have... Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably give it 2 stars. Mostly for the art. Yeah. But yeah, it's... I don't understand how we're continuing, like the Titans just continues to be a total unmitigated disaster. I don't get it. I don't get why this is the direction they're going in. And, again, I don't know Tim Sheridan. I don't know the dynamics that are at play here. This could have easily been, these are the characters you get to work with. This is the team. This is the story. You got to incorporate Red X. You got to do that. Like, I don't know, but what behind the scenes are. This could be Tim Sheridan having free reign. This could be having no reign at all and just being told that you got to make this outline work. I don't know, but what I do know is this is not going to work long term.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? A copy of a copy of a copy. We're on like the 4th copy of Hogwarts. And it's lost all the charm, even of the copy that we got with Strange Adventures, and it's just like dull and with some cringe added to it.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many directions you could go in that would be more compelling. You could end the issue cutting to Deathstroke training a bunch of assassins. You could go cut to Trigun up to something in the shadows. You could create a new villain or a new threat that feels like a threat. You know, it's not here.
Reveal that one of the students is already infiltrating and he's been sitting there by the bad guys to sabotage the school.
Yeah. You know, one or two, you could do it in a way where you're revealing it where we don't see which student it is. You know, where you do like the shadow from like the waist up or something, and we don't see which student it is, like that, because all the costumes they're wearing, that's like a uniform.
They all look like Fantastic Four costumes.
Yeah, you know, again, so it's like you're aping off the Future Foundation here in a bit. It's I don't got to.
Me neither. Well, thank you, Joe. I do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, and I hope it gets better from here.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.